Hello, hello. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Donna.
We're here sharing what we've learned as women, entrepreneurs, and moms.
All while rocking our curves with confidence.
It's a behind-the-scenes look at our lives and businesses.
And a chance to tell our younger selves, go do the things that scare you. I think what kept me up last night is, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah. Well, you said the other day that you felt like in your head.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
In the head about this?
Yes. Right. Kind of that little bit of
what are we doing?
Imposter. Right? Like, why would people listen to us? What are we bringing? And I think where I got to last night at 3:30 in the morning was, what do we tell our younger selves? Like, right? Yeah. Like, we're on the other side of some of the icky. Mm-hmm. So what do we tell ourselves? What do we tell our younger selves to bring us some comfort?
Well, I've been going through Instagram. I don't know if you noticed. I removed a whole bunch of followers from Instagram that probably didn't align with what we want to achieve. And then I started adding some people that are on your Instagram and my Instagram. And I don't know if you remember her. There was a woman that was at my launch for real estate. And she was with the brand manager. Her name was Leah. And she's always like, I feel like she's been a super supporter. And I added her the other night and she followed today. And then she sent me a message and she's like, girl, I love what you're doing. And she sent this beautiful message. Like, I really have seen you come out of your shell in the last little bit and just not really give a fuck of what anyone's thinking. And I was like, you know what? I feel that way. But I think I feel that way because of you. And I think, yeah, more so it's easy to go into something and do something, right? Like yourself, like when I was coming back into real estate and when I was, doing my brand photos and my video and stuff like that. But to have someone that really gets you and really supports you is one thing, right? And it's easier with you. I think I told you that before. It's much easier with you. And I said to her this morning, I said, thank you very much. I really appreciate that message. And it kind of made me teary because it was like, I think we're doing something right. And I think there's a lot of people that are like us, that get us, that understand us, that will really benefit and really not even benefit, but relate to us and be like, yeah, this is what life is about. And this is what being a woman is about. And we go through these things and we have hard times and we have good times. And you come to a point and you say, what would I tell my younger self?
Yeah.
And I thought of it this morning and I was like, what would I tell my younger self? Just fucking do it. Nothing really matters. And you shouldn't be waiting. And you shouldn't care what you look like. And you should take those photos.
Don't let it stop you.
Yeah, 100%.
Be scared, but do it anyways.
Yeah, and that's what I am.
Totally.
I think you are too. But yeah no, so I agree with you.
Well, it's funny because I had a conversation. I had an interview last week. And she was 29, and just in our conversation, it's about a conference that I'm going to end of the month. And so in the conversation, she was saying that she felt lost. And she said, I'm just finishing up my 20s. And so, honey, like 20s, this is man. Like, you're not lost. You're just finding that what doesn't fit for you, right? Like, it's a chapter.
What were you doing in your 20s?
Exactly, right? I sure wasn't where I wasn't running a company.
Nope.
Right? Like,
I can tell you right now what I was doing. 22. I say it to Nathan all the time. Nathan's my oldest, as you know, married, mortgage, pregnant, 22. And I look at him and I'm thinking, man, I was young. I don't change anything. I don't regret anything.
It's all part of the journey.
It is part of the journey. But I look at him and I'm thinking, man, you have so much life to experience at this age. Go and experience it. It's 22 is not old. It's so young.
Chapter, honey.
Right. Even that, it's like, what is it? The intro or whatever it's called, the prelude. Yeah, prelude to life. So, yeah, I get that. I understand that.
And I think, I was thinking about the networking that we do as entrepreneurs and how much that has changed our lives. But it's those connections that you make. Mm-hmm. It's those relatable stories. And I think with the history that we have and the different facets that we've touched, then, there are little gems in there to share. Right?
I went Wednesday night. I was at a networking event Wednesday night. And honestly and truly, I was worried about what I was wearing. And I was like, what am I going to wear? And it was just a walk. It's called the Girlfriend's Walk, put on by an amazing entrepreneur, Ali Aruda. She owns Benchmark Fitness. And I've gone to it before. And this one was in Oakville. And I actually won a little contest she had on Instagram. And I was like, you know what? I have the time. I'm going to go. So I was like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear? And you know what? I said, who cares what I wear? I'm going to just put on my leggings, put on my tank top, throw on my flyers.
Put on your leggings.
I know.
Yes.
Always leggings. But on my, I'm surprised I'm not in leggings today because that's what I wear all day. Even like my kids draw, when they were little, used to draw a uniform. This is my mom, black leggings, black shirt. I still know different. And I remember going, I went there and I was sitting there and you get nervous, right? You get nervous at these events. What are people thinking?
No matter how many you do.
Yeah. What do you look like? Oh my gosh. Do I look right to go to this event? Do I fit in with this event? And this woman came over to me and she said, we met at this event in, I don't
Isn't
remember
that
what
the
it was.
best?
Yeah. And we ended up walking together and then we separated while we were walking. So you walk this walk around downtown Oakville. I think she has them in Burlington as well, but we walked this walk. And as we were walking, we separated and there's another young woman was walking beside me. And then we ended up talking and amazing. She's very quiet, not like me, as you know. And we were just talking and talking. And then we ended up sitting together when we came back to, I think it's Daniel Craig Hair Studio, came back and we sat down. And then I was talking to someone else. And then I was talking to someone else. That's me. And then she came over to me and she says, do you mind if we like connect and stay in contact? And then she says, am I too young to hang out with you? I was like, what? I'm like, no way. I love it. So, you know, going into that, I was so worried about what I was going to look like instead of the actual connections I was going to make. And when I was there, I found I made so many connections this time just because I was me and I didn't really care. I was just who I was. So
this is me. Well,
it's hard, right? Like it's hard.
It is. You self-judge. You get in your head. You like,
yeah,
right, and it stops you from doing so many things, and that is what
even doing
message
this, right?
one, right? Yeah, like it's gonna scare you. Do it anyways.
100%. I agree.
Okay, let's talk about how we met.
Okay, I think you should tell the story first.
Okay,
because I think we have different stories.
Which is funny, right? So I remember looking for a woman realtor. We were up here in Oakville. And I wanted to test a property on renovations and wanted to work with a woman realtor. So I can't remember how I found you, but I remember sitting in our kitchen, Sean and I, and you came and you presented and I fell in love with you. I'm like, yes, you are my energy. You are my people. This is exactly what I want. And then
nice.
I remember us doing the first house on Sunset, buying it, renovating it, selling it.
Super fast.
Loving it, like loving the whole process. And then going on selling our primary home and going on into doing our first reno project. And just all the fun, like going to open houses in houses that we would never, ever be able to afford, but getting inspiration, right? And just having someone that gets it, that you can relate to. And like, love that.
I think that's important though, but that's, I feel, the heart of my business. I think the relationship's the key.
Yeah.
In real estate.
What is your memory?
Okay. I remember being a mom. I remember being a mom to two littles. I remember Nathan was about 3 and Lucas had just turned a year old. And I thought I remembered originally that I was pregnant, but then when I actually looked back, I wasn't pregnant. So it must have been...
I don't remember you pregnant.
Yeah, it must have been really fresh. Or maybe he had just celebrated his first birthday and that's what I remember.
Out the oven.
Yeah, really fresh out of the oven and crazy. But I remember you calling me and saying, I got your name from so-and-so. And I think I had that wrong. I think we talked about that before. I don't think that's what happened. But I remember you calling me and saying, I got your name. I received your name from someone. I'd like to meet with you. This is my plans. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like this is awesome. And, you know, naivety at that time, thinking it was you and your husband. Like, not that it would just be you and a husband doing it. But when I actually came to meet you at your home, I do remember walking into your home. I remember walking into your home. I remember your eldest getting ready for baseball. And I remember your youngest like on some sort of like scooter or something in the house. And I remember going into your kitchen and sitting there. And that end of that conversation, I was like, wow, these people are amazing. Coolest people you could actually meet. And the best part about that was I was like, she wants to do this. Like Donna wants to do this. I'm like, this is a woman that wants to get into this world. And I was like, wow, I want to be a part of this. Like, this is really cool. And that stuck in my head for a long time. And I remember actually being like really honored to be a part of that, because you don't see many women in the industry, many women that want to renovate or build or develop. Yeah, you see it on TV and that sort of stuff, but to actually know someone and be a part of that. I also remember seeing many homes. And I also remember the one home you bought. We kind of knew that was it. Like, that was it. We walked into that home. I think the gentleman may have been home when we walked in. I think he opened the door.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, and I just remember the house being old inside. I don't know if that's right.
Knob and tube.
Yeah.
It had knob and tube electrical.
But was it like
that.
Carpet, or was it?
Oh, yeah. It was very 70s.
Like green
original,
and brown and yellow. I remember
big
that.
red wallpaper. Sean still curses that wallpaper. That
I don't remember that. But I just remember it being old. Like very, very old. And then I remember you.
Time capsule.
Yeah. Crazy. Remember you closing and then starting the project and then keeping in contact and coming over to see you and look at the project. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. And then when we sold it really fast. We sold it Mother's Day weekend. I'll never forget Mother's Day weekend. It was my first kind of like big open house, but not really, because I'd had many listings, but this was like someone actually renovated a house, and this was like a house. Like, this was nice. And I went and got my fruit platter from Sobeys or Metro, whatever it was, and set it all up. It was a busy open house, and that night I think we got 2 or 3 offers. We had multiple offers on it.
It was
and
fast.
It was. And it was probably one of the only times I can remember, besides another time in real estate, that I had multiple offers or was involved in multiple offers on a property. We sold it, and then you had asked me about the next project. And when you told me about the next project, like, I want to go bigger, like I want to do like a whole house, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And to be a part of that again was something super special. So I've always really admired or looked up to you and thought, like, this is my person. Like, this is exactly what I would be doing if that's what I was doing, right? So yeah, I think we kind of have the same memory, but yeah, I think just maybe different players in it. But and I remember that project too. So that was I remember that house originally. I lived in that neighborhood, and I remember you buying that second house, and I remember it being
great neighborhood. There's
a duplex.
Oh yes, the second one that we totally redid.
Yeah. And I remember that house. Like, I remember it being a duplex, and I remember you buying it.
That was the best. Like, favorite day, Stone Slinger.
Yeah.
I took the kids out of school so they could come and watch the Stone Slinger. There was no plywood down on the floors. It was just you had to be like, okay, that makes me sound like a bad mother. But yeah, we were careful. We all had equipment. But it was the Stone Slinger. That was like the coolest thing. Yeah, that was an adventure.
It was adventure. I really loved it. And I loved being a part of it. So I thank you for that all the time.
Thank you.
And
you know, like, if you look back to your younger self, would I ever have thought in my younger years? I mean, okay, we did buy our first house when we were 19. We bought it with my father. We did too. And renoed it, right? So the house stuff has always been there.
Yeah.
But like to go and do what we did again, do the things that scare you. Right?
Yeah, that must have been really scary for you, especially having like younger children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to like, that's a big.
My kids grew up not painting
house.
The room that they wanted. There were no posters. There were none of that. But they also lived in some pretty cool homes because we built them.
But I think those experiences shape your children.
Oh yes.
You know,
they'd be very nomadic. They know how to pack. They know how to move.
Yeah.
They know, that being together as a family is the important part, not the place where you're at.
Or I didn't grow up like that. I grew up in the same house.
Me too. I
grew up in the same town. And I always, that's one thing I do think about all the time. I kind of regret. Paul was more, let's move out of Oakville. And I was like, I don't know. And I wanted to kind of be here, closer to the parents, closer to the like all that. And when I look back, that's probably one of the only things I kind of regret, is not moving away. But then I wouldn't have met you, and I wouldn't have had my life. So I can't really regret that. And
I think so funny, because one of my biggest angst points, which I know still lives in there, but it's like a bitterness, was the moving part, because I was established and I had my friends, and then I was married, and then he got a better job in a different city. And then, yes, we have the conversation. It's always a conversation. It's not like he's telling me, because we all know how that's going to go. Don't we? We are not those kind of women.
No, not at all.
No. So, you follow. You start with a new base. You find new friends. You find a new job. Then he gets another job. That's what brought us to the GTA, right? And so, again, you start again. New friends. It's not,
what's crazy though? I didn't know that you like left your job. Like I thought you like maybe naive again, or assumed that you were just a stay-at-home mom.
I had Bailey was 6 months when we left Windsor to come here, and Carter was 2 and a bit. Both asthmatic, and I had worked 3 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month as a cost account in Windsor, and it was perfect. It was a perfect balance between professionalism and mummyism, and it worked for me. I had lots of family, had lots of friends. I loved that, but I knew coming here there was no way I was going to find that, right? Like,
I didn't know that about you. I know you said that to me the other day, and it's something that sat in my head when we started talking about doing this podcast and the things we were going to talk about, and you said I left my job, and I was like, really? And I've known you for what? Going to be 20 years, right? And I was like, I honestly thought, like, because I think at that time you were driving, say Carter to baseball or Bailey here, and you were the mom that did everything at the school. You were part of the school. I just thought that's who you were. And to think that for all this time and not know that, I came home after our meeting and I was like, Paul, I just learned something about Donna. Like, I learned that she left her job. And
it's funny because we were here about two months. And Sean worked a lot. He left early in the morning. He came home late at night. And I was like, what am I doing here?
Must have been scary.
This is not me. I had my one girlfriend from high school, from grade school. She'd been my friend since grade school. Yeah. We lived a kilometer apart in grade school. And in Oakville, we lived a kilometer apart. That's how we ended up in Oakville. Because Sean lived with her while I was in Windsor selling the house.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. So, very grateful for that, because when you have 2 asthmatic kids and you got to go to the hospital at 4 a.m. and you that's who you call because you're not near family, right?
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
And I remember thinking, I'm moving to Sarnia. He can commute.
Yeah. I don't know. And then when we bought our first home, it was Burlington, and that was too far, like from Oakville to Burlington, and to think how far you came with your family. So I really admire that. I think that's something really special.
But I was bitter. I was a bitter woman. I was a bitter
imagine.
Woman. But it took me a while, but I got there. And my reflection point on that is that I have a collection of friendships in all these different cities that I've gone through that I never would have had I not been on that journey. And that is what makes life.
And you don't see that when you're younger, and you don't see that when you're going through it.
Right. So, especially with 2 young kids, right? You're just like, what?
Yeah. And I feel like totally opposite. I feel like I just started everything. Like, I feel like when because
you went, like, you did everything all at once.
I did. I feel like I did. You graduated college in 2000, worked in what I graduated for probably 6 weeks. I graduated in human resources management, was working for an agent as an assistant. And when
you would be great in HR.
Oh, you know what? I loved HR, but I liked the law aspect of it. And then when I worked in the consulting, I was like, oh, this is boring. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like telling people that they can't work and this sort of stuff. So I remember it was a hard decision, and the agent I was working for said, why don't you just go get your license? And I was like, And I went, and I literally signed up. At that time, you did it in school, did phase 1, did phase 2, did phase 3, all in a 6-month period, was licensed December 13th, 2000, I believe.
Go get him, girl.
I know. And she left on vacation, like the next day, for Hawaii. And she was a bigger agent, and she had multiple listings. And I was like, what the frick am I doing?
Baptism by fire.
Literally. I that was nuts to me. I curse that, and it's a blessing in the same.
Yeah.
Because she left, and she had one listing where the homeowner was not in the home. Lawyer was power of attorney. Someone else was a power of attorney. Then we get an offer on that. I got an offer on that property like New Year's Eve. I was having a New Year's Eve party. And I was like, what the heck am I doing? And I saw out of there. And then they're like, well, the homeowner doesn't sign anything. They don't have power of attorney. I was like, what is that talking about? Power of attorney? Like, what is power of attorney? I was like, I just learned it. And then the second, she had another listing offer. We're sitting at the offer table. And that time you presented in front of the the seller.
Back in the day.
Way back in the day. I feel like, and you know what? Even then you typed everything on a typewriter.
Oh my gosh.
I did everything on a typewriter, which was, computers weren't really involved and our web forms wasn't involved, but we sat at the table. And I remember one of her other agent friends came in and I said, you need to come. I've never presented an offer in person. And we were sitting there and the other agent walks in and it was me and my sis, like the woman I was working with. And then Big Boss was in Hawaii and the agent came in and she puts the offer down and I open it. And it was $250,000 less than asking. And the seller looked at her and she goes, get the fuck out of the house. And I was like, oh, what do I do? And I was like, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, just leave for a minute and I'm going to talk to my client. And we talked to him. I'm like, listen, we have an offer on the table. Let's work with it. Ended up coming to fruition. They ended up buying it, of course. And then the third experience in the time she was away is she had another listing, negotiated everything. Everything was done, signed, sealed. Deposit supposed to be handed over. I get a call an hour after we sign everything. The buyer doesn't have the deposit. So I have to go back to this homeowner and tell them, well, we have to cancel the deal. And I literally sat in tears. After that deal, I sat in tears. It was midnight. I must have not been married because I was sitting on my parents' couch and I was crying, just crying. And they were like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I am not doing this. I am not doing this. This is not what I signed up for. And the next day I walked into the office and my broker at that time sent me a huge bouquet of flowers and said, you got this. Like, this is just part of it. And as crazy as that, like 2 weeks was, what a learning experience. Like, that's what you learn. And then from there on, I was like, okay, I can do this. This is no problem. Like, whatever, let's just do it. So it was super fun. But I do remember, and it was really hard. It was a really hard time because I was really unsure of that decision I made. But then learning from it, you're like, okay, let's just go ahead. If that's the worst it's going to be, let's go.
You already did that first week.
I know. And it was crazy. Like, I still can't believe it. And I remember every client. I remember every situation in that. And
you have a memory that's crazy good.
I think I get that from my mom. My mom is like a memory and a date person. I don't remember a lot of things, but I feel like I don't. But then I remember like the experience around it, right?
Yeah.
So getting my license young, I got my license young and then married young. We married at 21. And then like you bought your first house at 19. I was 19 when we put the deposit on our first house. And
how many houses later?
I know, 5.
13.
Oh my gosh, 13.
13 moves.
Oh my gosh,
that's our
crazy.
number right now.
13. Yeah, for us it was a couple buys, and we're renting now. It's the first time we've ever rented, but wasn't going to buy in that crazy market that everyone experienced. But yeah, no, I remember even like being in our first house, townhouse. Loved my townhouse. If I could go back to any house, I think it'd be that house. I don't know if it's just because it's our first, but I loved it. I just loved the experience of it all, like the ownership. And we had a lot of friends at that time. We were very young, so all of our friends weren't buying and selling. We had a lot of memories in that house. And then we had our Nathan in that house, and I ended up having Nathan really young. So married, mortgage, and pregnant, 22 years old.
I was married at 22, but took a lot of convincing for me on the kid front. Like it was, really? I was 28 when I had Carter.
Did you feel like you did a lot of stuff in that? Like
I didn't want to have children. It was a me decision.
Really?
I would probably say not confident in my skills as a individual. And I had, trauma that I had dealt with and stuff like that. Right. So it took a lot of convincing. And I remember Sean was traveling, and I remember sitting on the edge of the bed in our our first house in Windsor, and finding out I was pregnant.
What?
And I remember crying.
Girl.
Crying because I was so scared, thinking, can I do this? a little late for that decision, but like, and just that was a big one for me.
Sure it was.
And best thing ever. Like those two kiddos, like.
And meeting you as a mother, I would never have thought that. Ever have thought that. I thought you were probably the coolest mother I've ever met in my life.
I like to think so too.
Well, you are.
Don't ask the kids.
You are. You are. Like you still are the coolest mom. And I think that you have taught me a lot about being a mom. Like I know that even as my children have gotten older, I feel like our lives kind of, is it parallel, the proper word? Like I feel like you've gone through things prior to me and you're an easy person to just run things by. Like you've
I think everybody needs that, right?
Yeah.
You need that sounding board. You need to
no judgment.
feel like you're not going insane.
Yeah. And you've always been there, like through everything. So for me, it's like, this is what I'm going through now. And you're like, Melissa. And then I'm like, Melissa. You're just like, this is. Well,
and it's the same, right? It's back and forth. It's not just one way. It is always.
Well, you say that, and I did not know that you had questions about being a mother, because my plan to be a mother wasn't until I was like 35. And I say that to the kids, like, and I'm honest with them about it. I said, I wasn't really planning on having you at 22. I wanted to
where I tell the kids, Dad got me drunk. And there you are. Thanks, Mom.
Well, the reality of my story is I did go away for a weekend and I came home pregnant 4 weeks later. And I was like, holy shit. And I remember like I didn't have my period and I was like at Sobeys and I'm like, I'm just going to buy a pregnancy test for the hell of it. And I bought it and I came home and I remember doing it and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh my God. No. And then I went to Shoppers. I bought another one. And then I went to the other one. I bought another one. And I was like 3 or 4 of them. And I was standing in my kitchen crying, and Paul didn't even know. Standing in my kitchen crying, and we had a really good friend staying with us, and he walked in the door, and I was just standing there, and he goes, "What's the matter?" And I'm like, "I'm pregnant." And Paul doesn't even know. I'm like, "What the heck?" And I remember.
It's such a huge change.
It is. It is.
Like, it's a big change.
And then when they come, it's an even bigger change, right? Like you're just like, wow. But it's an amazing change.
It is an amazing
and
change.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
No,
like having my kids younger, I wouldn't change that. I love that they're 22 and 20 now. And it's going to be 20 in a couple of weeks. But I love that. I love our relationship. I love being able to talk to them like I talk to my friends. I feel, I don't know, maybe you're not supposed to, but I do. I'm very open. I'm very honest. We're very open parents. We're very honest about a lot of things. We talk about things. We explain our businesses. We explain the ups and downs of businesses. This is what we're going through. This is the reality. So for me, I love it.
When we need to.
Yeah, and you can tell them.
Hug them when we need to.
Tell them where to go when you want to.
That's the nice thing. Yeah, it's great when they become adults that you
right. It's a great next chapter.
Like,
I love it.
Once you make it through those teenager years.
Yeah, and having I don't know. I know you have
101.
Yeah, and
you're 2 boys.
2 boys. So I don't know. It just is what it is.
It is.
And I'm very thankful, not realizing how close my boys are. Like I feel I didn't know that. Lucas needed help with something one day and he didn't know how to talk to Paul and I about it. And I remember like him finally talking to us about it. And I said, have you talked to Nate? And he's like, yeah, I've been talking to Nate for weeks about it. I'm like, what? You talk to Nate? And he's like, all the time. And I didn't realize like they text continually and they communicate. Like it seems so weird that I don't know that.
With their thumbs?
They do, but I just didn't know they were that close.
Which is awesome.
Which is so awesome. And I always tell them, you will always have your brother in your corner or your sister, whoever in your corner. But for them, you'll always have your brother. I said, we may not be around. I said, but that's who you need, family. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't change it, but
no, I wouldn't change
it was hard, man. It was so hard. It was so hard. Not knowing, I think going into it so young and not realizing the financial burden before you had kids, especially owning a house, right? Like, I don't know if you experienced that. Let's go buy a house. Let's go buy a house. And then you're like, oh.
Well, and then you're like staying home with the kids.
Yeah.
So you're one income. I mean, he had a good income. So I was very fortunate to be able to stay home with the kids. And I'm very grateful for that. That lasted 2 months. And then I was like, I need to find something to do because these children may not survive.
Did you go back to work when you were in Sarnia, like right away? Or did you come?
Well, I had the kids in Windsor. They were both born in Windsor. So I went to work like as soon as mat leave wasn't
what it is today.
It is now. No, it wasn't a year.
Probably 8
I think
months.
it may have been 8 or 9 months then.
That's what mine was. Oh, no. Mine was 12 months. Mine was a year. But Paul took them. I didn't take any of it.
Which is great, right? Like, we're so lucky to be in a generation where men step up.
And have partners that actually support.
Yeah.
Right?
And aren't guilted into
want to
being able to do that. Yeah. Because there's a whole, we're not going backwards. We're looking forwards. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. It was nice.
And that's very much about what we're doing here today, right?
Yeah.
Like, we are very much about moving forward as women, not going back to the 1930s.
Yeah.
And keeping it positive.
Yeah. And I think having that support in all facets of what we've done has been great.
Yes.
And I think that, like, you got married young.
Yep.
When did you get married? You said 19?
We were 22.
22 got married. So were you with Sean for a while before you
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. We got married on a Monday because it was our 5-year anniversary. I'm sure the whole world thought I was pregnant, but I was not.
No.
But it was a nice small ceremony at the church, and we had just an intimate gathering, some family and friends on the Monday. And then we went off to the cottage. My parents have a cottage, and that was our honeymoon because that was what we could afford.
Yeah.
And we had to work. And so we went away, and then we came back, and Sean's parents owned a water park. So we went and had our Duke d'Orleans cruise, because that was where we started dating, was on the Duke d'Orleans graduation night. It was our grad party. And so we had a Duke d'Orleans boat cruise and dance, and then we went out to the water park and had a pig roast and a party, and it was like the best way to do it. So on the Saturday, I wore my pink high tops with my wedding dress.
Have you always felt that support from Sean, like since you dated?
Yeah. Sean has been, I always used to joke that God was like, my God, this girl's a mess. She needs a really strong support system, and sent me Sean.
That's nice. He's such a good guy.
He is a good guy.
It's, I've known Paul since I was 14. Been with him for, feels like, since yesterday. But I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, how long you been married? I have to really think about that.
I do too. I'm
always like the dating anniversary.
How many years is it now?
I always remember dating. Like, I'm like 1994. That's when we started, like, hanging out.
I don't remember anything.
But we've been together, I think, 31 years this year. And it just feels like the other day. But even dating, Paul's always been super supportive. Like, I want to go to school. Yeah, no problem. I want to change my job. No problem. I want to get my real estate license. No problem. I want to leave real estate. No problem. I want to start. No problem. Yeah, like, always the support. And the unwavering love for who you are.
No matter your size.
Yeah. That's Paul. And I've always been up and down in weight and fought it. And even if I've wanted to, like, work out and lose weight, Paul's like, sure, no problem. And if I've gained weight, Paul's like, yeah, whatever. I don't notice it. And I find, looking back as I get older, I realize that he's really, truly been there through everything. Yeah. And he's really, truly loved me. When you're younger and you're dating, you're like, okay, whatever. He likes somebody else, right? And you don't look like that person, but
it's funny. I feel bad for Sean because I had one skinny year in my life. I've been a chubby kid the whole gamut. Always, there were times when I used to sleep with a brick on my belly to try and get skinny. Like, it's my lifelong thing. A brick. Yep. I wrapped it in foil.
I've never even heard of that.
I know. I have no idea where it came from, but yeah, I did. And then for some reason in grade 12, hormones changed and I got skinny. So I go from being a chubby girl my whole life to everyone saying, are you anorexic, Donna? I'm like, for God's sakes, I get one time here. But I remember specifically because his parents owned a water park. So he was out at the water park 24/7 working. Cool, and he wore a white polo shirt that had splashdown on it. He had navy, Bermuda style shorts, and they were kind of snug, and he had white high top shoes. Like, I can picture it. And he had very straight hair, and he wanted it long, so his dad made him get
Sean
it permed.
Had long hair?
He had long hair, and it was permed because he had very straight hair. And he would run it, he worked so hard. He was there at 7 a.m. Awesome. He'd get home at 9 p.m, and he'd come see me, and it was he was the sweetest guy. But I remember being there with a bunch of friends. We were in the putt-putt area, and I was in a turquoise and black polka dotted bikini and
Never been in a bikini.
these pink paisley boxer shorts that were shorts at the time. And I remember playing mini golf and like, you know, working my magic was on. And that was kind of like, that was the start of it. But he got me, roped him in on a skinny year, and then poof, everything changed. And but never, ever, ever has he ever made me feel bad for.
That's like Paul.
Yeah.
Paul's
which is so
amazing.
It is amazing. And it takes away a lot of the pain of it.
Yeah. Having someone there the whole time through everything.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. Like I've never been, I'm tall. I'm 5'9". I've never been short. I've just been this height since grade 6. It was you're playing center or you're playing volleyball in grade 6 because you're this height. And yeah, I've never really, but I also think we came more from a generation that really emphasized tininess.
Yes.
Like when I look back, I watch
everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like all the magazines, all
Yeah.
the TV commercials, everything.
Everything.
There wasn't people of our stature out there.
Which is really nice now when you
Yes.
actually go through social media or you go
Yeah.
through whatever you're looking at. There's a
You're
lot of
normalizing it a
representation.
bit, yes.
There's a lot more representation.
Which is Wish She's Got Legs, like something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
Right? Because we had trouble finding sizes of the same outfit
Yep.
that fit multiple size bodies, and that it's important, right?
Yes, it
makes
is.
you feel like you're not different.
Makes you feel like you can wear it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I can wear that. Like, you like an outfit and then it doesn't look like, oh, you're like, well, it doesn't, you can't find any of that. But at least with She's Got Legs, you're like, look it, that person looks like me. I can wear that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really important. I think it is one of the most important things, the representation that everyone is represented in this world, not, whatever size you are, because people struggle with being smaller stature too, right? In a different manner.
They have trouble finding clothes as well.
And you don't you don't think those people struggle, but they struggle in a different way.
Yeah.
I follow a young woman on Instagram and she has a huge following, and she's a model, and she's tiny, and the amount of negativity she gets because of her size and the sadness that she portrays, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
Like no one can do anything today without having a comment about it. And I think,
I often say God should have made us all blind.
Yeah, maybe.
And we wouldn't all be so judgmental.
Yeah, that's where that show Love is Blind is good. You ever
I don't know
watched
that show.
Oh,
No.
Netflix. Reality queen here. I love the reality. I know.
I'm not a reality.
I know. You just said you were reading a book, and then I'm like, well, the newest Housewives I watched was Housewives of Orange County last week, and not read a book. So, yeah,
It was a good book.
Oh, I imagine it was, but I don't read. That's the truth. I don't read unless it's very like so much interest to me, like real estate and
Hannah's War.
Hannah's War. That's what you said.
Yep, it was good.
I don't know, but for me, it's all reality TV. I think the reality TV part of it gets me out of my own reality. That's why I watch it.
That's
because I'm like
things to take you away. Yeah,
there's really that kind
That's the explosion of social media, right? You're like, hey.
Yeah, but social media, I think, like, I try to follow a lot of people that, like, I see representation in.
Yes.
I follow a facet of people. I follow them for different reasons. I follow them because I like art, or because I like their creative aspect, or what they say, or what they look like. I follow many different people for many reasons. So for
doing crafts.
Yeah.
I love crafts painting.
I know. You're the one that told me to put my jewelry on TikTok.
Yes.
And, I have done it, but I haven't gone back to doing it. But I will go back to doing it. I feel like the last probably month has been a little crazy.
I just saw you make some silver clay charms. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Super fun.
Brag about it. This is a small plug here. Brag about jewelry.
Well, I've had to change that with everything that's gone in the world in the last little while. So finding a new medium, and I actually had all the stuff to create, and finding a new medium or finding a new way to do it has been amazing. And I love it because it allows me to truly be creative. It's like adult Play-Doh that when you fire it is 99.9% pure silver. So it's more silver than what I've ever worked with. And it's a lot, allows me to be a lot more creative. I just got in stamps and my brain goes. Like if I have those days, I kind of set aside studio days and I'm like, I'm just going to create. So for me, but I don't like doing that either because I don't feel like I'm creating out of passion. I'm just setting a time aside, right?
I was going to take off my brag about it ring, but my hands are swollen, so can't get
Mine
it
are there
off.
too. Mine are there too. Probably the tacos I made last night. But no, I love it. I love to be able to create. Creating is lets me be me, right? No comments, just doing what I love to do. But I like bringing creativity into everything I do. I like being different with my creativity. I was that one in school where, let's make a poster and I have sparkles on it and I do this on it and I wanted to do everything extra. So
how do you go from real estate, mom life, to brag about it?
I just made the decision to stop real estate. And that was probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. It took me...
It broke my heart.
I know. I know. And I still say to this day, I remember you saying, are you sure you don't want to keep your license? Are you sure you don't want to keep your license? Even just for me? And I was like, oh, I would love to. And you know what? I decided in the January of, I don't even know, I'm going to say 2008 or 9, something like that.
Shortly after we bought that.
So yeah, that big
first
reno. And I remember, it must have been 2008.
Yes.
Because Paul worked at Ford at that time and they were offering a buyout. And Paul was like, well, I want to leave. And I was like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I'm going to start my business. And I was like, really? And I was like, okay, do it. Like, go ahead and do it. Like, I think it's a great time. And I go, maybe it's the same time that I take a step back in real estate. And that decision, I think he made fall of 2008. So maybe beginning of 2009, I left. And it took me about 7 or 8 months to park my license. It took me a long time. I was working with clients.
Well, and it's expensive to hold the license.
Yeah.
If you're not working.
Yeah, very expensive. People think, oh yeah, you're a realtor, you make all this money, or yeah, no problem at all. It doesn't cost anything. It costs hundreds of dollars a month to hold your real estate license and be members of boards and a member of a brokerage. And every brokerage is different, but I've never wavered from who I've worked for. They gave me one of my first jobs in 1997. I've been in real estate since 1997. I was a receptionist and licensed. And anyway, so I remember making the decision and I told my broker in January, and then we were like February and I was showing homes, and then we're like March and April, May. And I remember Nathan was turning 6 then, 2009. And he came down the stairs in the morning and he was like, Mommy, what are we doing today? It's his birthday. And I knew it was his birthday, but I knew I was also heading out to show homes. And I was like, I know what I'm doing today. And he's like, but what are we going to do? And I was like, you know what, Nathan, whatever you want to do. And it literally, I picked up the phone, I called my broker and I said, listen, today's my last day. And I called my client and I said, listen, something's come up. I have to be with my kid today. It's his birthday. I can refer you to someone else to continue the business, or we can just go another time. He's like, no, we'll just go another time. And I said, I will have time eventually. I said, but I just don't know when I will have that time, because I'm also making the decision to leave real estate at the moment. He was like, no problem. Crazy enough, that young gentleman has still never bought a home, which is crazy. I just found out. So it was so heartbreaking to leave, because I love...
It's your passion.
Yeah, it is. And coming back, people ask, what does it feel like? I said, it feels like being home.
I remember that day. I remember the day we went for breakfast.
Yeah.
We're at the Kerr Street Cafe and we're sitting there. And you said, I've been thinking, and I said, like, you didn't even finish your sentence.
Yeah,
like,
you knew.
Yes,
you knew.
need to do it. You need
but
to
you
do
were
it.
the only person that I ever told. You're the only person I ever told. And I didn't tell anybody else except for like Paul. We talked about it. And then maybe my parents. But you were the only friend I told about. And I said, you know what? You're the only person that needs to know.
But as moms, like, and I think that's probably one of my Nucking Futz moments growing up, was kind of like, there's always the push to go to school.
Yep.
Then you go to school, you get your stuff, and then you become a wife, and then you have kids, and then it's like, okay, you follow the guy and give it up.
Yep.
And I'm like,
what the fuck? Yeah, literally, what the fuck?
It's a mind game.
It is.
Right? And of course you're going to go with the bigger salary. You're going to go, right? Like, it's never, again, it's never just a, you do this, because we know how that would go.
Yeah.
but you go in and out of chapters of your life.
That's what you said to me. You're like, Melissa, this is just another chapter of your story. And I'm like, well, I wish I. And you're like, don't ever say that, because that was a chapter. That chapter led to the next chapter, which led to this chapter.
Yeah.
So you know what? I really respect that. And I always think that. Even when I talk to my kids now, I say that. And I'm like, well, you know, Donna told me this.
And, I mean, it's just that one of those things you learn as you go. So telling my younger self, hey, don't get all hung up on it. This isn't forever.
Yes, right. 100%. I agree with that. And I think you don't you're right. Because
you are not going to be a triathlete forever, Donna.
Not me one time be that. I would never even go into that career. But I think, I don't know, maybe in my house growing up, my family was like, you get the job, you work your way up in a company.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember when I left my job in HR and I told my parents I was going into real estate, and they were like, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Like, what are you going to do? I'm like, oh, don't worry. And, you know, tooting my own horn here, I was pretty successful young.
You were very successful.
You know, and I didn't realize that until I looked back recently. And when I came back to the business, I'm like, asked Roy LePage, that's who I work for. I'm like, would you be able to give me a list of all my deals that I ever did? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they sent it to me, and I had like 100 deals. And I was like, oh, that's why I was never home. I get it now. But in the moment, it was not enough.
You're so passionate about it.
I love it. Thank you.
You do.
I still love it. And even not being in it, when I wasn't in it for the 10 years or whatever it was, I don't even know, 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, I still was in it. Like, I still looked at the market. I still watched real estate. I still looked at homes. Yeah, all the time about real estate. I bought my own home. I renovated my own home. Yeah. That's what Paul does. Like, you know, so we were in it, but to leave it was so hard. And I remember when I got off the phone that day from like telling my broker I'm not doing it, I cried. And then I was like, okay, get yourself ready. Go take Nathan out and do what he wants to do. And I think the deciding factor was the amount of times my kids said to me, Mom, why are you not giving me a bath? Or Mom, why did you not come to soccer? Or Mom, why are you not home to read the stories like you know, there, you know, ebbs and flows of real estate. They get busy, get slow. And in that moment, it was a slower time. And I think it was easier to make that transition because it was 2008, 2009, similar to market we have now. Yeah. So it was easier to make that transition because if it was like height of the market, I probably wouldn't have made that transition. And that's just being honest. Yeah. I loved real estate. I love the nonstop of it. I love the hustle. Yeah. I like the deals. I like the clients. Move it. I do. I liked it all. I love it all. I still love it all. So for me, yeah, it was hard. And then what do I do? Like, what do I do? And at that time I had been creating like bracelets with like silver beads and names. And my mom's like, what is this online business stuff? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I found this like little marketplace. At that time, Etsy had only been around for 2 or 3 years. And I put a couple pieces on and I sold it. And then going through Etsy, because they didn't only sell handmade items, they sold supplies, right? And I saw this stamping kit. I think it was $179. And at that time, it was hard. Like financially, it was very, very hard for us. And I'm like, I don't have an extra $200 to just go buy something.
You don't.
But my heart told me, do this. This is what you need to do. It's like when you said to me, you want to do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Because my heart spoke to me and it was like, this is what you need to do. You need to do this. It's like coming back to real estate. That's what you need to do. So for me, I do kind of go with my heart with a lot of things, but I bought this little kit, came in and I started stamping, put my first pieces up May of 2009. And like, that was it.
But you're home with the kids, right? Like you're running around, you can stop and do laundry, you can feed them, you can play with them, all that.
Real estate, you couldn't.
Right.
We couldn't.
And those are the decisions that we go through, right? But it works. Like I found accounting because I was still working on my CPA when I moved here. So I had a little bit to finish. I remember finally getting there, saying to Sean, not sure this is what I want to do. Yeah. And he's like, good thing you didn't think you wanted to be a doctor. But anyways, I have my degree. I've, been a part of it, and it has always been a part of what I do. It's been afforded me many different facets.
Even answering my crazy tax questions.
Well, and right, like through so many different parts of it. So do I regret it? Never, ever, ever. But so I was looking for accounting work that I could do part-time so I could fit it in when the kids were at school. You know, often I would take the kids to wherever I was at. There was a hair salon in downtown Oakville that my kids grew up playing Nanda because Nanda was the hairdresser, and they would go and cut each other's hair, which was not a good thing to find them in the tub doing. But, and well, we're playing Nanda. I'm like, no, we're not.
Why not?
You know, but they grew up at the hair salon because I would go in to get the books and we'd chat, and, you know, they cut their hair. And so that was like 25 years that I did that with them.
So you accountant?
So I did accounting.
Like
so
real estate?
Yep. I did the real estate. And that was like, because we lived in those homes.
Yeah.
We weren't flipping homes. We lived in those homes for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
I did day trading as well in there.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
We had some good years of day trading. And that was something Sean got me into.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what a bear market was, what a bull market was.
I don't know what it is. Don't worry.
And he's like, you can do this. And so I did. I think it was 2 years.
Yeah.
That and that's a concentrated, you're there during the day, all day. So the kids were older. And I was a huge part of the kids' life at school.
You were.
Like when my son went to high school.
I always used to say, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could do that. Like, and I never actively did it. You know, I did a lot of the after school stuff. Not that I couldn't do it. I just didn't. But I remember you always at the school, always with the kids. Like,
being part of the reading club, being part of the Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
I was on the PTA. I was always in for craft days and field trips and stuff like that. I loved it. I remember Carter going to high school. He goes, Mom, I don't want to see you at my school.
Why not?
I'm like, okay. And I remember when Bailey was there, she was in band, and the band teacher asked me if I would go on a trip. And I was like, have you asked Bailey? I need to get kid approval first. She was like, yeah, Mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
Of course.
And then, so how did She's Got Legs come about?
So She's Got Legs, that was funny because I found a pair of leggings on a Facebook ad. They were skull leggings. I still have them.
Oh.
Yep. And they're packed in a box right now because we're in between houses. So that's kind of like where those are. But so I was in buying as a customer, and then I was in buying more and more. And they're like, you should sell for us. And I'm like, I'm an accountant. I don't do sales. Like, that's not my thing. I don't know anything about it. Blah, 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 blah. Then Carter was off to university. So 18 he is at this point. And I thought, hey, why not? So I tried it. And that was January of 2018.
Oh.
And I loved it. My sister had my first party. It was down in Windsor. So I brought a whole bunch of stuff down there. And it was people I had worked with down there. And it was such a fun night. Because it's kind of like playing dress up. Yeah. But with leggings.
I've been to, I think, one of your
comfy clothes. Yeah, you've been at a few of my events, right? So, and that's the great thing about us is
I remember it was
always
so
there to support. Yeah,
so much.
And then I had a great year. Like I did so many parties and events, and I just loved it. But I got to the end of the year. I won. That was funny. I won some awards. I won top new stylist. I won,
of course,
top
why not?
Stylist, and I won top partier. And I phoned my mom and I said, Mom, all those years that you worried about me partying in school, it paid off. I just won an award. So that was kind of funny. But I got to the end of the year and I was like, I love what this does for women. It gives them an opportunity to do something for themselves that fits in with their lifestyle. If it's an extra $100 a month, extra $200 a month, that can be life-changing, right?
It is. Yeah.
Like it bought you the jewelry set. Yep. So I approached the two owners and I had accounting that I would bring to the table and they didn't have accounting. So I ended up being a partner in May of 2019. And I remember specifically saying to my daughter, I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Really?
I felt like it was finally
exactly where you should
my
be.
Time, my thing, where I fit in.
Can I ask how the kids were then? You said 2019?
So, yeah. So Bailey would have been 19 and Carter would have been 21 that year because Bailey's born in 2000. So it's easy for me to do the math.
Yeah.
On that. So I was 50. I turned 50 that year.
Wow. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. And like that's the thing.
Any age.
Any age.
Doesn't matter.
And sometimes you go through all the little things not really knowing where you fit and then it clicks. And it's finding the things that don't fit sometimes and then getting to the ones that, and I loved it. Like I loved, so about at one partner in 2020, about at the other partner in 2021. And so it's a solo. We are over 1,200, almost 1,300
That's
stylists
amazing.
across Canada that are in our program. And I love, like, we've gone from just leggings to all kinds of
I know.
leisure wear that, so yeah,
Pretty.
I love the journey.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about it, very passionate about
You should be.
creating
You
a
sh-
positive environment,
Yeah.
powered by women, and
Yeah.
kicking butt out there in the world.
I know. International Women's Day was pretty fun.
Yes, it was our line dance party.
We had that was pretty awesome. I was able to
Yeah.
come with two fellow people from the hockey team, and we had a blast. It was great. You know, I think that too. You ask yourself, what would you tell your younger self, right? In that situation, it is not linear,
It's not.
and those ups and downs in that like are gonna get you to where you need to be. And like you just do it. Like who cares? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, who cares? You got to find
It's
it.
kind of like walking through a whimsical forest,
Yeah.
and your path is like meandering, right? And you're looking all around, and you're absorbing this, and you're absorbing this, and you're like, you know, what resonates with me? Sometimes there's scary chapters or
Yeah.
dark parts, but then there's like, you know, where you,
Do you ever sit back and look at it all and be like, holy shit, I did this all?
yeah, like if you just said to me at 19 that this
Yeah.
is where we'd be sitting
Yeah.
here doing this, having done the houses that we did, having done, you know, been such a part of the kids' lives and all those things,
Yeah.
like the incredible friendships. Like there's so many mom groups.
Right.
We still have a high school group of girls
Oh,
that we
that's
get
awesome.
together once a
Yeah,
year,
I
and
love
it's
it.
like so soul filling.
Yeah.
Like there's so many friendships that you collect in that journey. It's like a video game.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I didn't realize it until I actually had to write about myself when I was doing my brand video for real estate coming
Yes.
back. And it was like, I had this like survey or this questionnaire to fill out, and I was answering it, and I was like, holy shit, I've done a lot of things. Why am I not proud of that? Why can't I be proud of that? Like, what are, I just, it blew my mind to think of everything I've done and not be like, what are you
still
so
here, right?
small?
Like, yeah.
Why are you still so small? Like, why are you not shutting to the world? I do this and I've done this and I've done that. And, you know, leaving real estate felt like a failure to me. In a weird way, it felt like a failure.
does.
I felt I was powerful. I felt I had this
Leaving
sense of
cost accounting.
like it was this sense of accomplishment that I had, and then I left, and I was like, oh, now you're
Because
just
there's
making
that narrative
jewelry.
that you're just a mom, or
Yeah.
you're just right, like you're just work from home.
What
or-
the heck, man?
Yeah,
Like, and I remember that, and then when I wrote that stuff out, I was like, holy moly!
yeah. You think
And then
of how many people's lives you touched with
Yeah.
that jewelry business. Even still,
still
you're still going.
still a little bit on hold right now, but I'm still creating. I'm working on my
Yeah.
new line, so I don't mind, but I want to work on that line so that I can be all me, right? Not just listen, I was in many stores before. Like I was in 8 stores, and I pulled all my stuff from those stores because I felt like I was a
Well,
manufacturer.
you've been on TV shows.
Yeah.
You've been in the awards.
Law and
gifts.
Order, Frankie and Grace, or Grace and Frankie. Oh my God, it's embarrassing. I don't remember. Ozark, Young and Restless.
How many awards
yeah.
were you at? Like,
CMA, the Country Music Awards. I did the Golden Globes, and most recently the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee ceremony I did jewelry for. I get asked all the time to do jewelry. I'm part of this group called the Artisan Group. It's an amazing collective group of artisans, and it's very expensive to get into those things, right? So you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars to be at an award show. Instead, we collectively show. So it's a great opportunity to have your product seen. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm allowed to actually use the logo, which is pretty cool.
That is so cool.
I'm like, sign me up for that. I'm there for
Yeah.
that. It was the inductee ceremony for Lenny Kravitz, which is really cool. I love Lenny Kravitz.
That's
Cher was
cool.
there. There was a lot of people there, which was really nice. Do I ever know when my jewelry's on TV? No. Do I know these people wear it? No. But I love the opportunity that I had to present and be a part of it. So I like that aspect of it. But I did really feel like a failure when I left real estate. It was a hard decision. And then I felt like I just became really small. And I was just like, all I'm doing is making jewelry from my house. Meanwhile, it was $1 million business. Wasn't a small business, still not a small business, but it felt small. Like when you'd get together with some parents and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I make jewelry and do this. And it was almost like I was embarrassed to talk about it. And now I'll talk about it all day long because I think it's pretty awesome what I've done. And coming back into real estate feels great. And in between all that, my husband and I bought a hockey team. So that
which is not a small purchase.
No,
like, oh yeah, we own a hockey team.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, which is a really, I think it's really cool. And not that it's really cool, it's very special. It's a very special thing to do. And it just allowed me to combine all the people that I know from that part of my life with my boys.
Been a part of your life
huge
forever.
Forever, even since I was little.
It was never part because I was never getting my ass up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go sit on a freaking rink. No way.
No. And me, I'm like, no baseball. We're like, no baseball people here. What is this sport?
Evening is my time. Let's
That's
go.
Right. Yeah. So, and that, and then you look at all those things. Like when I was at that event this week, someone says, what do you do? And I was like, serial entrepreneur? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, what do I tell you? Yeah. Like, I a realtor, I own a jewelry company, I own a hockey team. And now.
Do your kids tell you have ADHD?
No, but I probably do.
My kids tell me all the time. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. It's my superpower.
Yeah.
Like, I can be that bouncing ball that bounces off the walls and goes like 9,000 things at once. And,
yes, you can.
And then you're like singing a song and writing a book and, whatever you're doing all at the same time.
I couldn't do nothing, though. I think that's the thing. Like, I don't think I'm trust me. There's days I can sit. There's days I can sit and I can eat the candy. Yeah, I can do that 100%. But even when people ask me, are you ever going to retire? I'm like,
yeah.
What's retirement? Like, I don't know. Does that mean do nothing? Because if I'm doing nothing, then I'm traveling. Like, I want to travel. Like, to me, that's the retirement part. It's not that I want to travel all the time. I want to have like months of travel and then work and then months of travel and then work. Like, I don't ever see me retiring.
I could see you owning properties like in Italy and
it'd be nice.
Vienna,
California. We'd love to go to California. We love California. I love California. I know, but it's a big thing for me. It's a place of peace. We go and it's like being home, but being away in a tropical island. It's really nice, but it's probably like Florida for you.
Right, it's Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like,
I mean, I love to travel.
Yeah.
And see different parts of the world. I think it helps you open your eyes to,
for sure,
different ways of doing things. Different.
Yeah, it does.
Cultures, different. I love architecture, so bring me to any place that's historic, and
I'm the same as you.
I will take 1,000 photos of doors and bricks and
31,000 photos isn't enough in your photo. What? I don't have 31,000 photos in my photo reel, whatever it's called, my little photo book there on my phone. But no, I don't ever see retirement for me. I just think the things that we've done enrich us, and the things we continue to do make life better. And I hope that as I continue to grow and continue to do things, that everyone's still there. Like, my kids are with me. My kids see it. Like, I look at them and I'm like, they ask me, Mom, what should I do? And I'm like, you're asking the wrong person here, because I went to school for something that I do not do. Like, and I said,
and most people do,
no.
Right? Like, I mean, doctors, okay, they're lawyers, they're kind of the exception. Most accountants, usually the exception, right? But, and I think kids going up, when they're picking, my son knew from the time he was 3 that he wanted to be in business. He's known forever.
Yeah.
My daughter, no. She struggled with what to do. She's very artistic. She's very language. She's very math. She's got all the parts of the brain working at the same time.
That's where you're awesome as a mother. Like, I said that before. Like, I looked at you like... You're like, selling it way hard. You should sit with my kids for an hour and let them tell you. No, but like, there's so many parents that are like, well, this is what I want my kid to be, or this is what I want my kid to do, and they have to go to university, or they have to go to college, or they have to do something. But you've always let your kids be themselves.
I remember being at the grocery store, standing in line, and the music teacher came up. Mr. Vincent came up to me, and my daughter struggled in high school with mental health. So that was a journey. My son was the partier. My daughter was a different journey, right? So, and 2 different kids, it's always different journeys. Yeah. They're different. So I will say it was much harder than having the partier kid. And the partier kid was very difficult. But the mental health is very, because
I remember that.
It's more of a struggle of how to help and being able to help, and it's a scary precipice to stand on the edge of. And I remember standing in line at the grocery store, and he came up to me, and band was a huge part of my daughter's health part of the journey.
Yeah,
it was
I remember that
great
now. Yeah,
positive. I love that she was a drummer.
I didn't know she was a drummer.
Taught herself guitar as well. Like, music was a big part of her soul, finding its own way. And he said to me, he says, I love Bailey. I think she's such a great person. I just don't want her to feel like she has to go to university, because she was doing welding. She came home and she was using an arc welder or a plasma welder or a plasma cutter or something. And like her eyes lit up and
for a teacher to say that.
Right. Like at the grocery store.
That's
and
huge.
I'm thinking, I hope she doesn't think that we expect her to go to university. So that night we had the big conversation like, hey, like there's no expectation here. You got to do, and with your journey, you don't know what it is. So you got to try things, and it's going to be, this doesn't fit, and this doesn't fit, and this doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And that's been part of her journey. And, she got like funny grade 12, like that was one of her biggest struggle years. So she self-taught at home because of the mental health stuff. And that was before COVID. Like that was like 3 or 4 years before COVID. And she got 90s.
Ahead of her time.
Right. She was, right? And that's her learning environment, is quiet self. And I think looking back, because as you go through the school system, it's different for every person. And you really got to listen to your kid and work with the school. And the school was great.
That is so hard, though, to be a parent in that aspect.
Yeah.
And that's where I say I admire you, and I really looked up to you, and I really respected what you said all the time, because, you compare. You always compare. You're like, I did, at least myself. I always, my kid's going to this university, and my kid's going to that university. And I'm like, my kid's just not doing that.
They're not ready.
Yeah.
Right?
And
they're so young.
I looked at you and you were like, Melissa, it's okay. And I was like, you know what, maybe it is okay. And you, like, is normal the word? I don't even know if it's the right word, but you made it seem normal. You made it seem okay. And it is okay. And realizing now, and I look at my son, my oldest, he was working in a field that he loved already, but the field wanted him to be educated or have his diploma or whatever you want to call it in it. And he was like, I don't like that. He went to school for a year and he's like, I can't stand it. He says, I don't like that part. He goes, I know what to do, but I don't like that part. He's like, can I leave? Sure, leave. He got a job. He's been working full time. And he's dabbled. Like, he's like, maybe I'll get my real estate license, or maybe I'll go into trade school, or maybe I'll do this. So last week he was given an opportunity to do a full apprenticeship to become a mechanic. And he has an opportunity to be a millwright. I think it's a regular mechanic or a diesel mechanic. So he started last week, and he came home from his first day. And he looked at me and he says, Mom, I go, what? He said, I feel like this is just the beginning of where I should be in life. And I was like, oh my gosh.
The best thing.
I was like, really? And I go, like 6 months before, he was really sad. Like, he's like, I need to talk to you. And we're very open. Like I said, we talk about everything. Yeah. He did go through mental health issues too. We had some tragedy in our family.
It, right? Like,
and
it's,
and he was just like, Mom, like,
I think that's a good thing about our generation. I mean, I'm an older generation than your generation by a decade, but I feel like we're on the same playing level, is that we are much more open and conversational about emotions and trauma
than our parents,
than our parents, right? Like, and I don't know if it's that we learn from them or that but social media, I think, has a huge play in that, because people just talk about it more. Yeah. And so you realize you're not alone.
No.
Right. And I think a lot of what we're doing here is, hey, it's a journey.
Yeah.
You are not alone.
You're not alone. And I think that having you, that's made me feel like that I'm not alone, that there are people, there are my people.
You are my people.
Yeah. And you
gotta
understand.
Find your people.
Yeah. And you do. It's important. That's very, very important.
Not everyone is your people.
No. And what would you ask your younger self? Same thing. Is that not everyone?
But the conversation I had with this 29-year-old last week was like, okay, no is a complete sentence. Yeah. And that takes a long time. I still think I'm learning that. Oh, yeah. I think it's every day I'm learning. When you walk away, you're thinking, shit, I wish I said no.
Yeah. And I think in the last 6 months I've been better about it. But I realized no more chasing, just creating the life that I want, how I want, in the timeline I want. Because when I was in real estate before, everything was a yes. Not that it's not a yes now. It's just a yes with a different timeline. And it's a yes with it's okay that this happens, and it's okay that we do it a little bit slower. It doesn't have to
Yes.
be like,
And you take time for shutdown.
yeah,
Which is important.
it's a great thing. I think you should be able to tell yourself today that I wish I would have told myself a long time ago, because no is a hard word to learn.
It is.
And I think I'm able to articulate that to my children. I wish I just could articulate that to myself
Now,
properly.
I will say, when my daughter was young, she was a feisty little beast. She was, I tell her all the time, the fact that you lived to see 4 was like your luckiest move, because you were such a little tyrant. But when you have a little girl, you want her to be feisty. You do not want her to be afraid to stand up to anyone or anything and say, hey,
Yeah.
this is not okay. And I remember her being down at girlfriend's house. They were in a tent in, I don't know if it was in the house or in the yard, and they were playing, and the 2 girls would not let her in the tent. And I'm like, oh. So she got up and she walked home.
Good for her.
And I'm like, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that is incredible.
I think
To have that self-awareness about you, like, I don't need to stay.
yeah.
Fine, don't let me in.
Because a lot of people don't have that today.
No.
I don't have that. I never had that. It's like something that I've learned slowly and still learning.
Yeah. The confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that like, comes from.
And
you.
I think being with those people, and it's a learned thing. It's some people are born with it, definitely, but other people it's a learned thing.
Yeah. Well, I try to tell my boys like the other we talk about a lot of things, but we have the conversations with us. Be open with us. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be a certain way.
Boy lessons are different than girl lessons, and you hate to gender it. Yeah. But
everything is so out there for them, and it's so like I just think of what we used to see versus what they see, and how numb they've become to certain things. But even like feelings and like people saying things about their feelings, but I'm like, it's okay to talk about them. It's okay to come home and have conversations. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be happy. But I've also told them a lot of things like, you have to be smart in this world. You have to be very, very smart.
You have to work hard. You have to be focused.
And just be the type of person that you'd want your daughter to date.
Yes.
You sent me that TikTok. And I was like, I think I listened to it still. And there's like 5 things you would ask yourself in a relationship. And the last thing is, would you want your child to date this person? Right. And you're like...
Healthy relationships, right? Like... We didn't grow up learning about healthy relationships.
Well, we didn't grow up learning about much of anything, to be honest with you.
I think we all would have been, well, you made a good choice, but I sure would have made better choices earlier on. That's why when I got to Sean, I was like, oh yeah, wait, I got my list. Nope.
Check.
If you're okay with this list, then you're okay. You can be let in.
No, it's hard. It's hard to be a parent.
Because you need those healthy relationships to get you through to the end, right?
Where I think that not being with my children when they were younger, I was very fortunate that Paul took maternity or paternity leave for both of them. And he, in-laws were great. My in-laws are lifesavers. They took the kids every single day. And then making the decision in like 2008, 2009, whatever that was, to stay home and be more at home, not necessarily stay home, but to be more at home and work from home, and be with them as they got older has been wonderful, because it's created a different type of relationship.
Right. It's very much teamwork.
Yeah.
And the relationship with dad and relationship with mom are different.
Very different.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
No. It's funny though, because I look back and I used to do crafts all the time.
Same with
I
me.
love crafts.
I'm the crafty.
Those little buggers don't remember all the crafts we did.
No.
I'm like, all that freaking time I invested in all those things. But there are some key memories. Like Sean would stay home. Like if I had a big work week, he would stay home one day, and then they would go on bike adventures. So they would pack a lunch.
That's awesome.
And because Oakville has all these bike trails, and they would go, and then he would let the kids decide if they're going left or right.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
I know, right? Like what a great, I would never ever do that.
Be like, stay on the sidewalk, go this way.
My adventure was walking around the block in the dark with flashlights waiting for dad to come home.
Okay, but you had some pretty epic Halloween parties. Let's talk about that. Oh, yes. Those were epic. Like to have a parent that had those Halloween parties and had everyone involved from adults to children was pretty awesome.
Halloween.
I know you do. It's right around the corner.
I know.
How exciting is that?
Spaghetti.
Oh my gosh.
The hands, the tactile. We did pumpkin search in the woods and with the kids.
So many things.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, I think, about having kids, is you get to do all that stuff. And I don't think parenting is one way or it should be this way or that way. I think it's just what works for you. And that's what I tell, like, my brother and my sister-in-law have a little one. He's going to be 3, but I tell them, you just have to remember what I was told, what works for your family is best.
Yes.
Right? Like, if you're like, you know,
there's not one way. There's
no.
not a right or a wrong.
No.
You got to figure it out for you. Everybody, I read something recently. It was the Let Them book by Mel.
Never read it.
And it takes a lot for me because I am not a person to let them. If you're talking trash to someone, I'm not going to let you.
No.
If you're being an idiot, I'm not going to let you. But when you read the book, I will say I'm only halfway through the book. I read the first 10 chapters. I didn't read them. I listened to them while driving, which is a great way to do it. But it isn't just about letting someone do it. It's about knowing that you can't control that person.
Yeah.
And you're not going to change them. You're not going to fix them. So you're going to let them go do that. And your reaction to what they're doing is on you.
Oh, yeah.
So let them and then let me. So that's part of her teaching, right? It is interesting. And, you know, and there's a lot. And she, you know, she goes into, okay, if it's a safety issue, you know, like you're not just going to, right? So but the one thing that she said that really struck, a couple of things. She talked about emotion, like the way children behave. So she talks about having the emotional reaction of like a 3-year-old to situations. And I'm like,
I've done that.
Yeah, totally. Right. Like I'm
still do that sometimes.
I know. That's what she said. She goes, but you know, we were never taught how to control our emotions and how to, where I think of Sean and I'm like, he's definitely the adult in our relationship. Yes. And I am the 3-year-old when it comes to reacting to situations, right? Like it is. And I'm like, holy Hannah. But then she also talked about the lens, your perspective lens, and the lens that you see life through. You and I are looking at the same thing, but your experience and my experiences so far give us a different lens to look through. And I'm like, okay.
That's interesting.
Right? Like I've had some trauma in my life that lives deep down in there, that rears its head every now and again. And that changes my perspective of certain movies, of certain news articles, of certain things, you know, and with that, a person who has not been through that doesn't have that same reaction. And it's just an internal reaction. Yeah. It's not something I can control. It just happens. And it makes you feel like you're losing your mind. It makes you feel like you're like out of this world. But, you know, everybody looks at it differently. For sure. Because of what they've been through. And that's why there is no right or wrong.
Like, why doesn't it just have a book of life? Like,
and I don't think.
Like, why isn't there all these things written down somewhere? You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to learn them? Like, you know, like, because that makes sense, right?
It does.
But when you're younger, you just don't see that. You don't understand that.
You don't.
It's like, why do we have to be midlife to understand that stuff or start to understand that stuff, right?
But, so younger self, are you listening?
Yeah, no kidding. What would you tell your younger self? You're going to have things that shape you and make you look at things differently. And that's very true. It's very, very true. You know, so
but it's not always like bad, right?
No. But even you saying right now, like Sean, you're like, yeah, Sean is that person in the relationship. And I always thought I was the person in the relationship with like that, but I don't think I am. I think Paul's that person too. I think he's that person. Like he's the one that's like, okay, even with the kids, he's a lot calmer than me. Like he's so much more calmer than me. Like,
and then you wonder, okay, is this hormonal? Yeah. Right? Because we have changes that happen to us all because of hormone stuff.
For sure. Thank you for joining us today at the Nucking Futz podcast.
If you like this podcast, please share by liking and subscribing. Feel free to leave any comments and reach us at hello@thenuckingfutz.com.
Just a reminder, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. If you are struggling, know that you are not alone. Please reach out for professional help.
You can join our newsletter at thenuckingfutz.com to follow our journey. Looking for Donna at work? You can find her great leggings and leisure wear as well at She's Got Legs.
Looking for me, Melissa Hull? You can reach me at Brag About It Jewelry or I am Melissa Hull for real estate.